It's your boy Ancient Albatross here again with the Cypher Unlimited crew. Our usual suspects of AD or Alpha Dean. We have Spigs18 or Anthony. And just as a quick reminder, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe on both Twitch and YouTube. It really helps us out immensely. And yeah, Dean, what are we doing here tonight?
Well, tonight is one of those great nights where we get to actually, get into character creation, the thought processes behind it. We're getting ready for this great adventure that Sean K. Reynolds is going to run us in tomorrow night. So tonight what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the thought process about our characters that we fleshed out already, and we're actually going to go through the process and build Erik Frankhouse's representation or inspired Green Lantern type character. And
wait. Does it have to be green?
No, it doesn't. You're inspired by.
Okay.
So it can be anything along the emotional spectrum. It can be an entirely new concept, but the idea of a guy running around, basically sculpting hard light into shapes and so on and so forth. That's what we're doing. If I missed anything, Anthony will definitely clear it up, and I'm gonna, bat the ball right over into Anthony's court. Oh, wait a minute, Erik. You want to say hello to everybody?
Hey, everybody.
Fucking welcome, Erik.
Yeah, hey, everybody. How are we doing? I haven't been with the boys for a little while. It's been a while since I've been together with the Cypher Unlimited team. And I'm here to be skeptical, as always. So you're going to have to prove to me that this works. But I saw in chat someone wanted Red Lantern, and I cannot agree more. So I changed the color. We're going red. Fuck Green Lanterns.
Can
I swear on the show? I forgot.
Yes. Yeah, you can.
Okay, good.
Wait a minute. Rewind that. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
All right, so first off, pretty much what Dean said, but for those that don't know, tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern time, the one and only Sean K. Reynolds, the lead designer for Claim the Sky, and a fabulous designer for Monty Cook Games, is running the four of us through a wonderful one-shot adventure showcasing what can be done with Claim the Sky. So like we had in last week's episode, we asked our audience, we questioned through Facebook, Twitter, and the Cypher Unlimited Discord to give us suggestions.
And YouTube.
And did your guys deliver? We were combing through so many suggestions. It was hard as hell to pick. We wound up getting over 100 different unique suggestions, and we narrowed it down to these four. Right. I'll go first and say what my suggestion wind up being was Beast Boy. Al's suggestion wind up being Captain Carrot.
Does Sean know what you're doing to him?
Dean's suggestion was what's his name again? Dean?
Rand al'Thor, the Dragon Reborn from the Wheel of Time books.
That one came out of left field. And I gave Erik a list of 4 characters to choose from that were from different suggestions. I gave him Green Lantern, Hellboy. Was it Hellboy?
No, you just gave me Green Lantern.
No, there was more than one. I'm gonna look at
Bro, if Hellboy was on the docket, I'd have played Hellboy.
Oh, wait,
remember, we didn't take Hellboy because
I know I gave Erik some suggestions. I'm looking at.
No, you did not. Right, no, we did not.
Yes,
I know the list was.
I got it right here.
Oh,
you see, it's Green Lantern. I gave him Green Lantern, Bullseye, Thor, or Plastic Man, and he chose.
I didn't hear Thor in there.
Yeah, I'm looking.
But no, I'd still take Green Lantern. Plastic Man can burn himself alive if I have a choice. And Bullseye,
I'll take Green Lantern. And oh, by the way, Anthony, you are the greatest person I ever met in my life.
Well, that's not other bullshit. I will share my screen live and move all the stuff out of the way you can't see. But no, I would say that Bullseye is a second-rate Hawkeye. So why the fuck would I want to play that either?
Oh no, Bullseye's a dope character. I love Bullseye.
Nope.
Savage.
I was thinking about taking Bullseye. I was telling that to
Of course you were. You like garbage characters.
Create Bullseye. But I love anything.
Beast Boy is dope.
Here's the thing. We're just going to have fun with this. Yeah. So without further ado, let's get it on.
What do you think this has been so far?
All right, before we get to Erik's Green Lantern or Red Lantern and his skepticism,
yeah.
We're here to prove them wrong.
Should we say why I'm skeptical?
If anybody watches the shows, you're pretty much skeptical on any shit.
That's not true.
Yes.
Okay, I'm skeptical because superhero games in general are very difficult to produce. It has nothing to do with MCG in this case. They're just very hard to make. And we have watched them fail many, many times. And I love Sean K. Reynolds. So like I'm here because I have faith in him, not superhero systems as a tabletop RPG.
I think Dean will strongly disagree with that statement.
Most of them are bad.
You know what?
There are some really good ones out there, but most are bad.
I could definitely see the point on there, but there are a lot of good ones. And I personally think that Claim the Sky will be one of those good ones because character creation is freaking awesome. And we're going to try to highlight that today.
All right. I'm in.
Who wants to go first with their character? We're going to do a brief overview of our three characters, what our thought process was, and how we shaped our characters before we dig deep into fully crafting Red Lantern for Erik.
Go ahead, and you start us off since you're already talking.
All right, so I was Beast Boy, right? So the first thing I did was, like I do with any Super's character, I usually give Dean a call, and I'll ask Dean, hey, how would you craft this? And then I'll say whether I disagree with it or not. Usually I disagree, but silently, I usually take most of his ideas and just be like, okay, that's good, but then I'll tell him I disagree with it, and then I go back and craft it on my own.
That sounds fair.
Yeah. And just for the chat, I like mutants and masterminds, by the way, but that's for another discussion. So the first thing I did was I looked at one thing that Claim the Sky does, which is absolutely awesome, is that they have a series of templates that basically shows you a specific style of hero. So the first thing I did was I immediately looked through the templates and Claim the Sky to see if there was anything that Beast Boy would fit into. And there absolutely was one. There was Shapeshifter. So when you look at the template, it tells you, it gives you a basic general understanding of how you would craft a Shapeshifter character. And it was pretty on point. It actually gave me what the perfect focus would be, which was I took Takes animal shapes, right?
So where does the templates at in the book? Are they under the character concepts? Is that what you're calling templates?
They're under the broad concepts like Paragon and Band of 1,000 Faces and so on and so forth.
So like Illusionist, Hunter, is that what you're talking about? Those
right.
pieces?
They break it down there and give you the focus, the type, so on and so forth.
And you took
if you have the PDF open, I believe
I do.
I'm already in.
Yeah,
page 40.
So I'm learning as we go, so I can.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Just so I can fire back. You're good.
I used the Shapeshifter template, and it gave me the perfect focus, which takes animal shape. So I put that to the side because I read what we're playing tier 2. I read what the first 2 tier abilities were, and it was very much Beast Boy like. The only difference was from a design perspective is that I wanted to give you a full-on Beast Boy. So I knew that I needed the tier 3 ability, but I'll get back to that later in my thought process. After I did that, right, then I said, okay, what kind of type am I gonna be? Because I think Beast Boy essentially is, he's sort of like 2 heroes. He's a one-trick pony for superpower-wise, as in he could turn into any animal. But he also has animal traits in his human form that makes him enhance over the normal person. So I knew that I had to pick a type. I had to eliminate adept, right? And I had to pick a type that was going to give me something to simulate that I'm stronger than the normal man, I'm faster than the normal man. So this is where Dean came in. Dean suggested Explorer because it's the only one that gives you 4 abilities from tier 1 and tier 2, which made a lot of sense. So then I chose Explorer as my type.
So how many things do you just trade power for power equal to level or lower? Is that how it works?
Oh, we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute, right? So then from there, right, I started fleshing out my Beast Boy animal changing shape. Like I wanted to make him slightly stronger than a human, faster than a normal human, and have agile. So, and I knew I had to take no needs from weapons, which also came from Explorer. So I took no needs from weapons, I took physical skills, and I took danger sense to emulate his speed from tier 1. Then I took the magic flavor and added Far Step and eliminated one ability from tier 1 because I had a tail and I wanted to be able to jump long distances.
So it's kind of like the archetypes when you take, or the flavors, where you take a flavor and it swaps.
Yeah, I took Far Step from magic flavor, right? And then since it was type 2, I took skilled in defense, and I took I believe it was danger instinct. And I took one other ability. I'm just trying to see what it is. Yeah. Hold on. Oh, and I took improved edge. This is very important because it costs 3 intellect points to change into animal shape, right? So I wanted to make sure I wanted to lower the cost of changing into animals as much as possible. And Explorer doesn't give you an intellect edge. So what I did was I took improved edge in tier 1 and tier 2 in order to give me 2 intellect points to allow me to change for only the cost of 1 intellect.
Okay.
All right, after that, now that I had my abilities, you notice I only had 7 abilities because I'm saving 1 to give up on my power shift to get the tier 3 ability of change to greater animals because I wanted to be able to change to, any type of animal. So I only took 7 abilities from my Explorer when in actuality, I could have took 8, right? Then then we went to descriptor. And from descriptor, I just basically looked at all the cool descriptors that were in Claim the Sky, and I took incredible. And the reason why I took incredible, because it was one of the few descriptors that gave you points in might and speed. And remember when I wanted to say that I wanted to emulate Beast Boy being better than the average person in human form. So, and incredible gave you 4 points to might, I believe, and 2 to speed. So that would allow me the flavor that I'm stronger than the average person. And then with the extra skills, I took jumping, climbing, balancing, speed defense. Oh, and my ability gave me breaking things from incredible, and I took acrobatics. And then essentially, now that I have like the core of my abilities, I go back to my focus and I look at the ability. So now I wound up with animal shape, which allowed me to change it to any animal my size. And then I took bigger animal shape with 1 prodigy power shift. That, remember, I only took 7 abilities. Mm-hmm. That 8th ability I swapped out in order to take a tier 3 and give up a power shift to get bigger animal shape.
So what tier characters are we playing in this?
Tier 2.
Tier 2.
Tier 2, okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. So there's a new, Claim the Sky has a new power shift that allows you to transfer give up an ability plus a power shift to take an ability that's a 1 tier higher. So that's exactly what I did.
So you got the 3 instead of the 2 by swapping it out.
So I gave up 1 power shift and 1 ability, and I got bigger animal shape. So now not only can I change it to any animal that's my size, I could change to any animal that's twice my normal size. So now I could do elephants, I could do crocodiles, I could do all these other, more Beast Boy like. And then I'm not going to get into what I did with my point totals because we'll share the sheet out, but I'm essentially 14, 14, 14 with 2 points in edge in my intellect and 1 point in edge in my might. And my other power shifts to round it out. Like I said, Beast Boy is basically a 1-trick pony. So what I did was, like, I didn't have to enhance any of his main superpowers because I got it from the focus. So I used the other power shifts to highlight that he's acrobatic and beyond supernatural in the human form. So I took a power shift in dexterity. I took a power shift in strength. I took a power shift in accuracy, and I took and I also took a power shift in healing because I wanted to emulate the fast healing that like a Wolverine, a Beast Boy would have from having those animal traits.
Mm-hmm.
And my character's full-on sentence is first of all, his name is Alejandro Gomez. His superhero name is El Animal, and his full sentence is incredible explorer, shapeshifter, in quotation marks, takes animal shapes. And that's how I made Beast Boy.
Awesome. But Omanal has a really good question, and I can't read fast enough to answer it. If you use that, the Prodigy shift, Prodigy power shift, if you advance to the next tier, and let's say you don't want the next tier's ability, can you go back and choose the one you gave up, or is it permanently gone?
You can always
gone. No, according to the book, it's permanently gone. If we go on my wall,
you can't go back and take any ability that you give, the ability that you give up, you can't go back and take, but you can always go back and take a lower tier ability.
Yeah, and that's a great question, because say if we played this game further and I already took the tier 3 ability, what I would do is I would just take a different tier 3 ability that fits into Beast Boy, into the Beast Boy. Like I would take Alter Self, because that's another ability that Beast Boy is also capable of not turning into animals. He can turn into other humanoids. I didn't take it because I didn't have enough stuff to create that. But in tier 3, if we was advancing, I think that would be the ability that I would take.
Makes sense. Did you want to go next, Dean, or do you want me to?
No, go ahead, Al. Go ahead.
Or did you want to open up any questions, Anthony, or what did you just say?
Yeah, if anyone had any other Beast Boy questions, we could answer them now quickly.
But or we can answer them as we go. But either way, let me move over to my sheet here. It's pretty straightforward. So I got the suggestion from Omanal to do Captain Carrot, which I'm calling Boundless Bunny. Just to kind of play off the setting name that's included in Claim This Guy. It's called Boundless. But yeah, it's a pretty straightforward dude. There was a lot of aspects to consider when recreating a Superman type dude, and before I actually fleshed it fully out, me, Dean, and Anthony had a call, which kind of got off the rails a little bit. It got off the rails a little bit, but I did glean something quite useful off of the conversation. Was, as Anthony put it, his big key characteristics or factors for a Superman type, and I was inclined to agree, was invulnerability, flight, and being super strong, right? Were those the 3 things you said?
Yep.
So
when I think of Superman, those are the 3 abilities I think you should encapsulate when you're designing any Superman-esque style character.
So that's exactly what I did. And so what I was trying to do is figure out how I could get really high armor, and also kind of have some battle-y type stuff, like being able to hit really hard, because those are two in one, like, and
Superman.
Yeah, exactly. So one focus I found that kind of did all that for me was needs no weapons, which was where I went first. After I knew I was going to be a warrior, so that type wasn't even really a discussion or anything like that. We knew he was going to be a warrior. Then I went over to the focus to see how I could get armor and damagey stuff, and needs no weapon fits that perfectly. It makes my hand into do 4 damage instead of 2, and they're still light, so I still get the benefit of that light using a light weapon where it's reduced 1 step. Because unlike I believe in the needs no weapon, just the ability, your hands become medium weapons. No, am I wrong on this?
You're right.
Yes.
So it kind of becomes a little bit different. But either way, I really enjoyed needs no weapons, because the other thing you get at tier 2 on top of that is, what is it, flesh of stone or steel flesh? I forget what it's called exactly, but it gives you 1 armor if you're not wearing any armor. And so what I did to give myself a lot of armor was power shift that specific ability. And if you look in the book for the ruling, and we also discussed this during our talk, it says if you power shift a specific ability, it's altered by 3 points. And it says including attacks, and it's very general. So we could be wrong. We're assuming it also applies to these armor-based type things. So if I power shift this thing that's giving me 1 armor, it goes from 1 armor to 4 armor. And I power shifted a second time to go from 4 to 7 because it's adding 3 every time. So just that alone jumps me up to 7 armor, and boom, that's my invulnerability. Right, just from power shifts and that one ability. Then I tried to build on top of the needs no weapon aspect to do more damage. So I'm already doing 4 damage with my fists. To do extra damage on top of that, power shifts for strength is very handy. It says all strength-based tasks are eased, and melee attacks, the damage, not the rolls, are increased by 3 as well. So I took 2 shifts in that as well to up my damage by 6. So now my fists are doing 10 damage. Very beefy. And that's not counting any extra effort I might put toward damage or anything like that. It's just 10 just base damage, which is a lot. Then to fully flesh out the Superman idea, I just took my last remaining power shift into flight. He can't fly super fast as if I would have taken 3 shifts in it, or if I had a different flying ability, but just with 1 shift allows you to fly a short distance each round, and a short distance is not too bad each round.
Can't you power shift to move it from short to long?
Yeah.
So exactly. Yeah. So each power shift ups the distance a little bit, but I want it because again, if we're playing a longer game and I were to buy more power shifts or something, my additional power shifts would definitely be just going right into flight, so I can emulate that even better. But because we are only tier 2 or whatever,
he didn't even fly, so you good.
Just Eric, they changed it in Claim the Sky. You can now purchase power shifts for 10 XP. So if you're playing a campaign, you could purchase a power shift.
Cool.
Yep. And then
Warpaint. Totally.
I really wanted to up my strength more, my might. So I just wanted to use a focus specifically from Claim the Sky because they are really cool ones and I haven't gotten to play any of them yet. So I chose Mighty, which gives +4 to might. It gives you skilled at lifting and throwing things, which is very Superman-y, throwing a car or something.
Yep.
And it gives you +1 to your recovery rolls, which again can kind of also account for your fast healing or being able to recover from any damage you might take pretty much instantaneously. So on top of that, I also, for one of my advancements to get to tier 2, I chose the other, and I chose the improved recovery roll. So now instead of, just +2 of recovery rolls for a standard tier 2 recovery roll, I'm healing 5, which is huge. So and I think that basically all encapsulates Superman. If you look
how
at
are you stopping bullets? Do you have a force shield power that you're using to stop bullets?
7 armor.
Okay.
And then
basically everything goes away.
And if you look at my abilities list here, you see I have Fist of Fury, which is my damage from my hands, Flesh of Stone, which is the armor, which is augmented with my power shifts, advantage to disadvantage, which comes from the needs no weapons. I can disarm people really readily, which I felt was also very Superman-esque because you don't want to kill them, you want them to stop being a threat.
Right.
Then there's unarmed fighting style, which makes gives me trained with my fists, so now it's even easier for me to hit with my fists. Improved edge, so I can have 3 might edge at tier 2. That's just to push home that my body is very stable, like strong, so I can burn an effort for free essentially, or get extra damage, or hit harder, or hit more readily for free, and it's not going to impact my body at all.
Cool.
Then there's trained without armor. That's just a backup for my armor. It makes you're Superman. You're fast. You can get out the way. Crushing blow, control the field. Very Superman-y. You want to get people out of the way. You want to be the one who's controlling the action. It keeps your teammates safe. It keeps civilians safe. You can even keep civilians safe with it. You just wouldn't attack them, you just move them. Either way, crushing blow for extra damage. I believe that provides you a free level of effort when you're using effort for an attack. So I'm just as much damage as I can get if I want to actually destroy a target, which is again very Superman-y. And I threw in a little bit of magic flavor because it's not in our iconic list of what Superman can do, but I really like his eye beams. So at tier 2, instead of taking 2, I as the warrior, you can take 2 abilities at tier 2. So I chose 1, which was Crushing Blow from warrior, and then magic flavor at tier 2 gets Concussive Blast, which is my eye beams. Now I have eye beams to fully flesh out my mental image or my game image of my Superman type hero.
Did you have Cold Breath too?
No, I did not account for Cold Breath. No, that didn't even come up in our conversation. Yes, and it's cool because again, Superman has so many powers that if this was a long-standing campaign, I can just include these things by purchasing with power shifts or going down, different ability trees and just taking abilities that make sense.
Are we going to talk about how ciphers and artifacts work later? How does ciphers work in this game? Do they work just like all the other games, or do they use something specific?
You've got different options. Of course, you can have subtle ciphers, you can have manifest ciphers. It just really depends on the game master, and they'll be able to flesh those ideas out for you. You might even say that gadgeteers, all their gadgets, especially quick use items, are ciphers and so on and so forth. They talk about it, but there's no set idiom on why it has to be.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
But that rounds out my character.
I just want to say one quick thing about your character. The 2 power shifts in the what was the power shifts that enhanced your armor? What was that ability?
Oh, so that was the single power shift.
No, the ability that you were enhancing with
Flesh of Stone. It gives you 1 armor when you're not wearing any armor, and technically I'm not.
Yeah. So that was ingenious because 7 points of armor. If you go by the CSR, every basic handgun all the way up to machine gun will get absorbed by that. So because a machine gun in the CSR is 6 points. So that
basically
that's very Superman-esque.
Yeah, that's
the only way they're going to hit you is if they spend points.
Yeah. That's that scene from the extended cut of the original movie when he walked out into Lex Luthor's lair and the machine guns come out and they just all around him.
He just walks right through it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So I think I hit the nail on the head with the invulnerability bit.
That was really cool.
What's your full sentence, Al?
Yeah, so it is Boundless Bunny is his name. I don't have an alter ego name for him, but he's a mighty warrior who needs no weapon.
Nice. All right.
He's a full rabbit, right? Just so everybody knows.
Yes, he's an anthropomorphic bunny. The way I'm gonna kind of play the backstory in this, if Sean will allow it, I'm just from either an alternate Earth or a different planet. I don't know. I don't think Boundless has anthropomorphic. I mean, I haven't fully read it. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, I'm just an anthropomorphic bunny who's trying to fit in.
I'm sorry.
It'd be better if he just dresses as a bunny. And he used to work for like an Easter shop.
No. Basically, anything you want. If you want an anthropomorphic bunny, I mean, you got to think. Boundless is based on the Marvel 616 universe or the MCU universe, and they got Rocket Raccoon.
How about the fucking duck?
Before I pass it over to Dean, I will say that I plan, and hopefully I might do it tonight or tomorrow before we stream. I'm gonna make a little costume. I'm gonna make a little mask. I'm gonna cut holes in a bandana. Sure. I'm gonna get like my girlfriend's head, like a hairband, and like make little construction paper ears.
Well, you're gonna have to make these windows larger, or no one's gonna be able to see any of that shit.
No, I mean,
for legal purposes, Boundless is inspired by, but not based on, Marvel's MCU.
Right.
I don't want Monty getting a letter from a lawyer in the mail tomorrow.
But yes, now we can move on to.
I'm pretty sure they were aware of that when they did it.
We can move on to Dean.
You're welcome, Al.
All right,
I broke him.
Yes. So the character I ended up choosing was Randall Thor, which is not a classic superhero, but it's a character from a novel series, The Wheel of Time. In the books, real quick background on the character, he's basically the essence of a prophecy. There's a prophecy about this character this person who will come be the dragon reborn, and he could either destroy the world or save the world. kind of concept. The character is very much a Gestalt character, so he's basically a little bit of everything. So it would be a hard character to build just as a single idea. So we're doing it like this. So I took as many aspects as I could to bring it to the forefront. But like these guys both said, Anthony and Al both said, if we were playing a longer term game, it would be very easy to build the character fully and watch him evolve, just kind of like he did in the books. So that's what I did. So what I did was, first of all, like these guys, I chose Explorer, like I told Anthony, because I needed to mirror multiple abilities. In the Wheel of Time, these characters control basically the fundamental forces or the primal nature force. So air, wind, earth, fire, and spirit. So my character is an explorer with a magic flavor. I think we all did the same thing. The kind of thing behind it was kind of unspoken, but we wanted to kind of showcase as much as we could from Claim the Sky. The easiest way to do that was to choose a descriptor from that book. The descriptors, the superheroic descriptors are very interesting. At least I think they are. I chose Uncanny. Uncanny is nice because it gives you a +2 in both might and speed. It also makes you weird. And in the books, Randall Thor was a little bit, he was supposed to be going mad, and for the longest time, he battled with this voice in his head that, spoke to him and told him all of this, until eventually he kind of accepted the whole idea of who he was and what he was and was able to clean the source of magic and so on and so forth. It's very convoluted, to say the least.
You mean like all the books?
Oh, yeah. It's 14 books in the series. Like I said, it would take an entire show to talk about all 14 books.
No, brilliant. Raceland's better, actually.
He's
a real character.
Shut up, Eric.
Well,
If only I knew how to read.
Raceland also had like the whipping cough before there was even.
Yeah, it was great.
Exactly. So
he was dying for like 7 books.
And Ram was going crazy for like 9. So it's like it's great. But there are aspects. So he learned to be a warrior. He also learned how to fight unarmed. He learned how to fight with a sword. It was a bunch of different things. He had, different types of defenses and so on and so forth. So what I did was I tried to pull out as many aspects as I could. So I went with the Explorer, like I said, and I actually dropped out 3 Explorer abilities, 2 Tier 1 abilities and 1 Tier 2 ability, and used Magic Flavor to bring out those elemental concepts. And because things are always easily reflavored in Cypher, it wasn't hard to do. So to mimic those ideas, the skills that I moved out were Entangling Forces, which I used to represent his ability to manipulate air and hold people in place and so on and so forth. I took Force Field because that ability, and I'm sorry, I got rid of 1 level 1 power and 2 level 2 powers, because I took Force Field as well, which basically would represent how he was able to deflect attacks that would come at him using his abilities. And then I took Concussive Blast as an offensive power. That can manifest itself as a fireball or as a blast of cold or whatever, because he was, like I said, dealing with the elemental forces of, creation. So those are the 3 things I did to get those abilities to come out. Then I went on to choose my focus, and my focus was Foretold. And it was like, what's the best way? How could you, talk about this character? Because there wasn't really anything that was completely superheroic as a focus that would work. But because he was supposed to be the character of a prophecy, I used was Foretold, which is kind of cool because it allowed me to be trained in 2 interaction skills, which are persuading. I chose Seeing Through Deception and intimidation, because that was kind of Rand's thing in the book. He was very stalwart. He could be very frightening when necessary. And instead of taking everything everybody said, he questioned, and he tried to peer through to the truth. I also took knowing, which meant I was trained in one area of knowledge. So I chose to be trained in the area of hypernormal or paranormal information. That's his thing. He looks through the beyond. The other interesting thing about it, because also with the uncanny descriptor that I chose, I got a inability in pleasant social interactions. So I'm not good with people, and I have to have a quirk or something. So I have no pupils. My eyes have no pupils. They're iridescent, just this iridescent slate, and there's like a glowy, weird iridescent halo that follows me around. So I don't look normal. I can't fit in. The other thing I did, I decided to focus in on his hand-to-hand training. So again, I said a more Gestalt character, so I know I can, blast you. But I also took from Explorer, no need for weapons for combat, so my hands do medium damage. And then moving on to my power shifts. I did the same thing with like Anthony and Al. I ended up using Prodigy because it worked, and I used Prodigy to swap out my tier 2 focus ability and pick up the focus ability of overcome all obstacles. And again, I tied it into that intimidation idea. And basically what happens when you stand, they say you basically stand against peril, and eventually people will shrink in your presence. So when I focus on a particular person, they suffer 2 points of intellect damage every single round for up to a minute, or until the target can throw off the effects. So it's a pretty beastly ability, to be able to just stand there and stare a person down or make them quake in their boots and take damage like that, which is something Rand has done, kind of did in the books, which,
That's true.
So I chose that as my Prodigy ability. The other ability I took a power shift and strength. So because of his training and so on and so forth, he was, a little bit stronger, so basically I'm like an Olympic level athlete, strong, but it also allows me to do more damage in hand-to-hand combat. And that's what I focused on. He took hand-to-hand combat. Then I took I took a power shift in intelligence also to represent his strong will and so on and so forth. So that gave me intellect defense. I also got might defense from being an explorer. I also took the improved edge and put 1 in speed defense. That way, again, that equalized Gestalt idea of this guy kind of being the all around good at what he does type idea. Then my other 2 power shifts I took in single power, and that single power is my concussive blast, because I wanted to hit really hard. I wanted, when he decided that he was gonna let somebody have it, they knew. So that overall was the thought process. That's the character kind of in a nutshell. So questions?
I don't know the character, so it's hard for me to like. It sounds cool. It sounds mad cool, but I've never read the book, so it's hard for me to be like, yeah, you did it. Like, you know what I mean? But it sounds cool. It sounds like a cool character.
I noticed that neither one of your guys, did you use a template at all, Dean, or you just built you knew like?
Well, I wanted to use. I tried to use a template, but I couldn't, because, like I said, this isn't
does
like
too much shit.
Yeah, it's like, it's like the old stories, the old Superman stories that are completely crazy, when Superman was shooting little Superman out of his hand, and all kinds of.
At its core, he's just an elementalist that knows how to fight, right?
Yeah, basically. You know, if you want to, yeah, you could say that at its baseline, yeah.
I mean, this is like a perfect lead-in, unless they have a question about your character. Let me wait for that before, because I know there's a lot of people asking Green Lantern stuff, but like at its core, I think the first thing we always ask when you're crafting a superhero, or at least I do, is what's the core ability? What makes this, you know, like now if we're doing Green Lantern, when you think of a Green Lantern style character, what's the first thing that comes into mind? What makes you think, okay, this is like when we were just talking about your character, the first thing you thought about was elemental powers, right? Or am I mistaken?
No, you're right. Absolutely. I had to figure out how I was going to give him his abilities, but still kind of, you know, keep the core idea. So, and real quick, I just have to throw this out there because I know Eric, there is no weaknesses anymore. The elemental spectrum isn't weakened by a different color or anything else. What it is their emotional opposite on the spectrum is what they have their conflict with.
Right. That's what I was saying. I said it's blue.
Oh, okay.
Blue is the care love, but I know if they take the ring off, they die.
Yeah, that too.
For Red Lanterns specifically.
Well,
because of the plasma tie to them.
Well, yeah. And I mean, here's again, are we gonna sit up here and attempt to recreate the Red Lantern completely, or are you just
just the concept of it?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. No, this concept. I was just looking for things that we can use as key points to add on to what we got here.
All right, but I think we're ready to move on to that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So what do you think the first thing, Dean was kind enough to give us a quick template of some ideas of the craft of Green Lantern, but that's not what we necessarily
do. Now we got to switch it up because we're doing.
No, because the Red Lantern still did a lot of the same things. They still did entanglement. They still make weapons to fight with, like Atrocitus was known for doing that stuff. There are things that we have here that we can still definitely use. Onslaught's perfect. That's all the attack stuff that they do. Entangling Force is good for some things. They did use entanglement with some of the blood powers. Short distance flight, I'm assuming, has to do the fact that we're tier 2.
Yes.
What was the focus?
I don't see a forced shield, and that's like the main thing I always think about.
We put that in there as ward.
Yes.
Oh, I have on my sheet here resonance field.
Oh, that was because that was what after me and Anthony talked about it. I had said resonance field. I said resonance field, and then I think resonance field might work better, being the fact that you are going red. Because
that allows them to fly in space and stuff, though. Resonance field?
No, that adaptation allows you to do that.
Okay, perfect. That's what I was going to know.
The resonance field, what that will allow you to do, it's still a defensive barrier, but when you make a roll against the attack, if you get a higher, a major or minor effect on the resistance of the attack, you actually can make the field pulse and do damage to people.
Okay, cool. So should we swap the speed and might?
It's up.
Did your guys see the template Force Field Master?
No.
Yes,
that's not a lantern though.
I looked at that, but I mean,
I think that's very much a lantern.
It could.
You're creating shields over yourself
and others.
It's a part though, but they do other things like create weapons. They also make barriers and walls. They also make mechs that they ride in when they're really good at it.
Yeah, so and Force Field Master, you create shields. Oh, see what
Force Field Master could be a way to go, but it depends on what style of lantern you want to build.
19 if you want to check it out.
Yeah, I have it up.
It depends on what style lantern you want to build. If you're going to build the classic Green Lantern style or classic Sinestro style, that's excellent, Anthony. Perfect choice. Yeah. But Atrocitus is violent.
Yep.
Red Lanterns are violent. They like to inflict pain. They like to do things that are, kind of.
So what's the focus you wind up? Because it's so small, I can't see it.
Sculpt's hard light.
Sculpt's hard light.
Sculpt's hard light.
So I think the only things in here that I would think about is what does sensational give? I guess that's probably my first big question.
Well, again, we need to probably change it because
that's what I'm asking.
Well, sensational is for you basically being the apple of people's eye, and I don't think you want to be that guy. You're not a nice guy.
Well, hold on a second. For video purposes, let's stick to one thing and give our audience how we crafted it, because we're kind of jumping into everything.
I'm starting at the beginning right now. I'm starting at descriptor.
Okay, we picking a descriptor first, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just
But
starting
the reason why I did choose that descriptor, and I mean, we could probably turn the descriptor upside down. I mean, just invert it. You don't have to be sensational. You could still be, what you call it?
There's only a few new descriptors in here, though.
Yeah, there are. We would have to change the focus of the descriptor. What page are they? What page is it on, Anthony?
It's on 46.
46. Okay.
Yeah, popular. You can GM can introduce a GM intrusion on you based on your fame and public perception.
Are you doing descriptor first and not focus first?
We're doing descriptor. We're doing descriptor first with him. You want to do descriptor?
I always start with a descriptor. You don't start with your descriptor when you do your shit?
I start with my focus and work my way back, because the focus is the core of the character.
I always start with a descriptor.
Well, what I'm saying
My
is,
personality.
if you wanted to flip it on its ear and reverse it, I could see that. I gave it to you for the versatile, and all of that, the different skills that you got trained in, so on and so forth. But we could, change popular to prejudiced. Instead of being trained in positive social interaction, you could be trained in all negative social interactions. So intimidation, lying, so on and so forth.
Yep. Wait, are we playing good guys before I do? I didn't even ask that.
Yeah, we are playing good. We are playing good guys, but that doesn't mean you remember Guy Gardner. He was the biggest ass hat out there. He was a good guy.
Lantern, though.
But
I don't want to ruin the show if we're supposed to be good guys.
We are supposed to be good guys. But you can always be an anti-hero. You can be
my character, dude. I could be an asshole.
You could be a particularly angry good guy.
You could be a Punisher type.
I could be an angry good guy. I do have an.
That's what I'm saying. So
that's about it. People just know how you have a reputation for going off the handle sometimes.
Yep. Thing was pissed all the time.
So what are we going with for the descriptor? I want to edit the sheet as we go too.
Yeah.
I think we just keep the sensational. I think we just swap how popular works.
Okay.
Yeah, it worked for me.
Because the versatile is perfect. Train and positive, make that negative social interactions. That's what I would do.
Yep.
So pull it up here.
Train in one skill relating to your current or past career, such as computers, journalism, law, machinery, or medicine. I want to go with medicine, actually.
All right.
Okay.
I got an idea for this. It's already formulating.
Oh my god. There we go. Let's add
And then I guess we can do popular, but we'll have to figure out how we're going to use
No, don't do popular. Do prejudice.
Oh, do prejudice instead of popular. Same exact rules, just it's infamy almost.
Exactly. It's there you go.
All right, perf. What's next? Now I would do types. That's how I normally would do it.
And so I went with the adept type because it had all the needed things right under the type.
Mm-hmm.
You get your onslaught. We took ward. Or resonance field.
Yep.
Those
it gives you all the
things,
castery stuff that makes sense for a lantern.
And again, it doesn't have to be magic. You can be whatever you want, or it can be
of course.
magic.
You reflavor everything in this game. That's the name of the game.
Exactly.
So where did they change any of the type stuff in Claim the Skies? Or anything different compared to the core Cypher book when you're looking at your types?
No.
Okay.
So when you're looking at the types, you need the CSR to go back.
That's what I wanted to know, because I didn't see anything in here if they added anything new for types, like if we got new powers for types.
I mean, that's a great question for anyone watching. Like all the other setting books from Monty Cook Games,
They stack on.
You use in conjunction with the core
The
CSR.
Sure. Right.
So, Omenal, that's a great question, and we'll address it in a minute. Al, are you compiling the questions again?
Oh, I'm not compiling questions. I'm focusing on filling out the sheet as we go.
Okay, then I'll
Sorry, I'm not talking much here. Sorry, guys. Well, yeah, I'm filling out the sheet so we don't miss anything as we go.
So then, what so that, I mean, that's really the adept. I don't think there's anything that really needs to change power wise. Like, what does the automatic glow do?
I mean, wouldn't you take if like I don't know exactly how the red lantern is.
They can be anything. There's a cat version.
Is very agile. I will
no, they're all different.
Take adept with combat flavor.
I could see combat flavor being cool if I was doing a lot of melee stuff, but I can play a quick version of a Red Lantern. I have an idea for that. Being that I think he's a doctor originally. That's my concept for him.
Okay.
So I'm good having like quick hands, that kind of thing. I have an idea for him because Atrocitus was a big brick shit house. Like he showed up and just pounded people in the paste. We already have that. We have a super rabbit, and we have a beast. So we might as well have someone who's fast. So I have an idea what I can do for the fast stuff. Using hard light and some ideas for it. So the intellect heist.
What abilities, like if we doing type first, right? What abilities you want to concentrate from tier 1 and tier 2?
What's automatic glow do? Is that coming
that's not from your type ability, that's from focus.
Okay. What is it? Just so I know.
Literally what it says. It basically
you just glow.
Yeah, you can make things, you can light things up.
I guess they do point the ring at shit and stuff like that. All right. Powers. Well, onslaughts are for sure. Onslaught. Let me pull open.
CSR and get the add up abilities.
Yeah. I got it here. I mean, I'll open it as well. I don't know what else I would want besides that. I think I have scan already, which is good. Resonance field. I'm assuming that also comes from adept, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it does.
Tell us which ones are the adept.
And onslaught also come from that.
All the adept abilities that are on the sheet are he should have onslaught, resonance field, and scan. You got those three?
Yep. And does entangling force come from this as well?
No, entangling forces comes actually from the focus.
From the focus? Okay.
Wouldn't push make sense for
what I did was, and I tell you, I think I only picked the three because I was leaving a couple of things open because I didn't know how you wanted to do like.
So I want something that lets me make hard light weapons. That's what I want.
Oh, well, that's scope light.
That's what I want.
That's on there. That should be on there somewhere. Scope light, right?
No,
I do not. That wasn't a part of the sheet that you originally gave me, Dean.
Okay, then you'll pick that up from your focus.
Okay.
Dean. So Dean, what are the tier 2 abilities you took?
The only tier 2 ability, because he only gets one, and that was adaptation. Because I was trying to reclimate him, being able to travel in outer space, underwater, whatever.
Water. Yep.
You know.
Agreed. Didn't the Red Lanterns have like that explosion power they did where they just sent shit everywhere? Like almost Carnage style?
You could, I mean, if you want that, again, the resonance field could be like doing that because that's
because you can do damage with it in this.
It basically pulses when people attack you.
Yeah.
You know,
and you could dump points into to do extra damage.
Yeah,
things like that.
Personally, I think you should take push.
I don't. No,
because
I don't think
I've seen
be
the Green Lantern throw people with his ring. I'm not so familiar with the Red Lantern, but it doesn't seem like you have many offensive style abilities.
Well, I have onslaught. I have the pulse. I have that. There's a ton of offense.
And again, I mean, if you wanted something else, you could always take shatter and beef that up. You know.
Yeah, I guess.
I was thinking the reason why I left you with a choice there because think about it. You can do a distortion field, which could make it harder for people to hit you or see you. You could do fire step, which could basically, you know.
I was thinking of fire step for sure.
But that's what I'm saying.
You have flight. Why do you need fire step?
Oh, I do have flight.
Well, fire step allows you to move a long distance in a single turn and still do something. So that could be just like a Red Lantern's teleporter base.
So hold on, is there anything that we could use to duplicate rage? Because that's what they were known for.
There is a rage ability.
Because Red Lantern's rings are unique base power. Rage can be used to manipulate the ring user. A Red Lantern can detect the rage.
Look at the focus rages. and see what the tier 1, 2 abilities are, and we could use a prodigy to swap
And
that
pull
out.
from it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rages.
It should be in the CSR.
See, Rage Monster. Is that what you're talking about?
No, go to
Oh, CSR. Oh, I apologize.
There's a Rageous Focus, and there should be some abilities.
go to page 76 in the PDF,
Done.
and there is a frenzy ability at first level. And frenzy basically is when you wish while in combat, you can enter a state of frenzy. While in this state, you can't use intellect points, but you gain +1 of your might edge, your speed edge, and this effect lasts as long as you wish, but it ends if no combat is taking place within range of your senses.
Oh, I gotta pull up the revised edition. I opened the first edition. 76, you said?
I was just telling Dean that offline, that every time I go to open up the CSR, I always pull up the original.
I clicked the wrong
I
one. 'Cause it's the
basically,
top.
and I told him I retitled them, so I don't have
I
that
just
issue.
moved it.
So if you look at page 76, that's Rages, but page 145 in the book itself is the actual explanation of frenzy.
So you could swap out one of those abilities and pick up.
Hey,
Frenzy.
what page describes frenzy? What was it?
145. It's actually 143, but it's 145 on the PDF.
Frenzy.
All right, guys, you can see the general thought process of what we're doing now is because we went from the green lantern to the red lantern, and we're trying to.
Hey, they wanted a red lantern in the audience. I was like, let's go.
So now,
That's a good idea.
So this is what you basically do, or what
And it's
I
intellect
basically
too
do.
for
It's
frenzy.
trial and error. I keep on looking at abilities to see what I can to fit my concept. Don't be scared to look at abilities from other focus,
Ooh.
because you always can swap and switch with the revised CSR. Just keep that in mind.
So I like frenzy. The question I had to follow this up is, you know how abilities are always modified, right? I would love it. It looks like I can use this for dex, or not dex, speed or might. I can see me adding a speed edge.
Both.
So I'm gonna need some. Yeah, but I have such a high speed. I need a finesse weapon. Like, I don't mean scalpels, but like really thin, hard light blades or something like that, where I can use that instead. Because then when I use this, it'll make it better. Are there ways to empower powers, like special effects that you would see in other superhero games?
Yes, those are power
Modified.
stunts. Those are power stunts.
Okay. So is that something you add on later? Or is it something you just do
So
by spending extra points?
I just think for the sake of this video and for the sake of, let's pick what your abilities are and go, okay. we're
Frenzy,
gonna-
I'm already in. I already said, yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it. I
Yeah.
wasn't arguing. I
but
said,
yeah,
let's take it.
I believe the way power stunts work, and Dean can correct me if I'm wrong, because I literally only read about it like yesterday, was that you can adjust your abilities on the fly, right? Just like in normal CSR. But over the course of time, I believe it's like after 3 successful attempts at adjusting the ability on the fly in the same way, you can permanently learn how to do it.
Yeah, you can permanently add it to your repertoire, and it'll cost you 3 XP to do that.
So that
But you
would be
have
the
to
way
do
to
it-
adjust it over time.
Yeah, but you have to, basically it has to be successfully done. So that's the cool part about this book, is that you get your baseline ideas, but as you're playing, you might get an idea. Wait, let me try this with my power. You can literally throw it out there. The GM is going to set a difficulty. If it's successful, boom, that becomes, like Al said, 3 times, and that's in your toolkit.
Cool. So taking frenzy, does that have to replace something, or did I have space for that?
You had space for that.
Done.
But you had to
Frenzy's
take,
active.
no, that's going to shift the power shifts though, because that's a prodigy power shift.
All right. So
Because I'm taking from something outside of my.
Right.
what am I adjusting on the sheet here for that? I'm taking
Just
away a
add-
single
just-
attack, or because
No.
all the power shifts are
No.
already spoken for.
I know, ask Eric which one he wants to give up.
You gotta
I
explain
assume the
what
one
the
extra one in
power shift
Onslaught.
are.
What?
No, I mean,
Oh, I
Eric may not be familiar with all the new power shifts. So you gotta.
No, I get it. So basically it looks like I have 5 power shifts in total.
Yes.
I have to ditch one of them, but I
Right.
already have 1 prodigy in here. What was the prodigy used for earlier?
I believe Sculpt Light, because that was
Sculpt
the
Light.
empty slot we just kind of filled in. Yeah, because Sculpt Light is a tier 3 ability
Okay, cool.
for Sculpt's
So-
Hard Light.
So that's
No,
what
I think I would take Onslaught down by 1. As much as I don't want to do that, it makes sense. I don't want to get rid of Entangling Force because I want to use that for some stuff. So
Entangling Force is your tier 2 ability.
yeah, but it has a power shift in it.
That means it ups the level of the creatures you can hold.
Right. I don't want to get rid of that. I'll take Onslaught
Gotcha.
down. I want to be able to be better at grappling people.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
I have a horrible idea for it. I think all my powers, I know what they're going to look like for the Hard Light. I don't know how much Sean's going to like it. I'll keep it PG-13.
We actually have to email him these sheets at the right
He's
after.
gonna be like, "What the fuck did you guys do?"
Jason, real quick, I'll do that for you and show it to you if you don't have the book. And there's more than one way to do it. And that's the crazy part about it.
Yeah, they actually included a few copy ability type things in this book. I actually have not looked at it, too closely because my character was not like that. So I had no reason to look at it right that second. But yeah, I actually did see at a glance that there were a couple of different copy ability type deals in the Claim the Sky book.
Cool. What else have we got now? This was an easy change around. This wasn't difficult at all.
No,
I think most of the stuff.
I think we're basically done.
Well, I have no skills on this sheet.
Yeah,
so
so
is he sticking with
Because you have to pick the skills you want. I gave you what you're listing.
So
as
how many
skills.
do I get? I took medicine. I got that from my descriptor. Where else do I get skills from?
You got this. That's about it, just from your descriptor.
so
You know,
that's
so
it.
remember-
Skill.
So then that's
You
it.
remember?
It's
You
2
remember?
skills.
No, guys, remember he's tier 2. You didn't take a skill for going up in tier.
No. So what he had, we can adjust this too. I can explain this one. So on the original character sheet that Dean gave me, he chose for one of your 4 advancements the other one, and your recovery rolls were higher. So you, instead of recovering 2 for tier 2, you recover 4. We can get rid of that and give you a skill if you want. If you
No, that is a Red Lantern. No, 100% recovery.
So then there we go. So yeah, instead of a
So
skill,
I
you
just
have
have
that.
medicine to start, and that's it.
Medicine and negative social interaction.
Just for the
that's
sake of the audience, right? What are the abilities he got for his focus so the audience knows?
Yeah, well, I was going to
automatic
touch on
glow,
that.
automatic glow, temporary light. No, I mean automatic glow, entangling forces, and sculpt light are his. What's the name? Because temporary light I swapped out for temporary
So
light. I
that was
swapped
what
for
the
sculpt.
prodigy was for.
Yeah, that was what it was for.
Oh, because he just used prodigy for something else.
We have 2 now.
Twice.
Two
Oh,
things
you
for
have it
prodigy.
on the sheet.
He used it for 2 things.
We adjusted that. Yes.
It's like so blurry on the screen now. I can't see.
Again,
I
I
haven't pulled up- I
apologize
haven't
because
pulled
we
up
have a
separately
form
for me.
fillable type deal. I'm working with what I got here.
So
No, I apologize for asking the wrong question.
So
here, I'm looking at something here. You
basically,
said it's on page 49 for automatic glow, right?
automatic glow is in the
Claim the Sky 49,
okay.
the actual book,
Yeah.
not the.
I'm looking it up here.
Yeah.
So hard light objects you create with focus, eliminate everything you want, your body. Okay. I mean, it's cool. I will see how often it comes into play. It mimics it.
Well, temporary light and sculpt light are basically the same thing. Temporary light is just the lower tier version of it. You know what I'm saying?
It
Of
costs
sculpt
less
light.
points to cast, right?
Yeah, it costs 1 less point to cast, but it's just the weaker version.
All right, cool. I mean,
it's
I'll
like,
use it.
it's like what I had to do with the animal shape. I had to take the lower animal shape and then
To
take the
gift
higher.
it. Yeah, I get it. It's a build on.
Yeah.
And just as a quick heads up, I guess the character sheet will be cleaned up a little bit before I share it. With the community, the audience. With our YouTube video tomorrow. And I also, like I said in the video earlier or in the stream earlier, it's also going to be shared on Discord and Facebook. So if you want to take a better look at the characters, they'll all be collected in one spot to be looked at.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I didn't give you guys my sentence. My character sentence is Paradigm, which I call my character. That's the only name he's known by. Paradigm is a uncanny explorer who was foretold. Just thought about
So
that.
what else do I have from the foci?
You also have
Automatic glow, temporary light.
No,
Entangling force.
automatic glow, entangling force, and sculpt light.
what page is this so he could look at it?
I am looking at it.
Oh.
There's page numbers for some of it. Like Entangling Force had one, but that looks like is that in the core book?
That's the
Yes, so
anything
if
that you give a page number is in the core rule book.
Unless annotated by CTS, which means doesn't claim this guy.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's what I thought. Just making sure. Because I want to see that. I like the idea of the Entangling Force. I got some ideas for that. See how it turns out.
I'll add a note
Cool.
for CSR page number 2 instead of it just being a random number
No,
there.
fine. If it doesn't-
I mean
if it-
for sharing later, so no one else gets
gotcha.
confused. Yeah. But do you have a name in mind so I can add that to the sheet?
No.
Or
not
what
yet.
kind of? I mean, I can add it later if you're not sure at the moment. But
I will have something. I don't have something right now. I want a good name. I don't think I'm going to be. Is everything Earthbound? Or are we doing space stuff?
You can do whatever you want.
he hasn't really specified.
That's not necessarily. He did say it was going to be horror themed.
Supers
said it
with
was
a horror.
Perfect then.
So yeah,
Horror themed.
I suggested it as a joke one time when he was on. Not as a joke. It was actually it was half joke. I didn't expect him to say yeah, let's do it. So when he hit us back up to run it for us, he's like, "Did you still want that horror element?" Because he also wrote Stay Alive. So I was like, let's combine the 2 books. And I guess that's what he's gonna run a supers game with some horror elements for. So it should be a lot of fun.
I'm down for that. I'm definitely gonna be a doctor from another planet, so that I'm not really good at surgery on humans.
Makes sense.
And you do have, if you go just a general explorer, you have a skill list. Equipment list. If there was any stuff that you wanted to add, as equipment.
Sure. Okay. Are we starting with any ciphers or anything?
I think he'll give
us that.
Give them to us. Okay.
Generally, what it is. And
What do we have for names right now? What are our 3 names?
El Animal. I forgot what Al was called. The Boundless Bunny. And I'm Paradigm.
Okay.
Boundless Bunny. I love it.
And just my backstory, I was a teenage kid in Puerto Rico who was an animal activist, and he snuck into a lab in Yunque rainforest trying to burn it down because they were he thought they were doing animal testing for makeup and stuff, but they were really creating a super soldier serum. And one thing led to another, yada yada yada, like they do in superhero intro stories. An explosion happened. He got infected with the serum. The entire facility blew up. So he's the only one that has the serum, and he can turn to animals. His skin is blue. He has a tail, and he has reptilian eyes.
Yeah, I'll look through some stuff. I'll get you one by tomorrow morning. I have a good idea, but I want to do a little research before I say it.
Is everything on your sheet done now?
I don't know. Is it, Al?
Basically, it's I think all I gotta do, or I guess what we should do, and we'll do this off stream, is make sure that, because we kind of threw a whole bunch of ideas out there, just to make sure that it's fully in line with the actual, character creation. I think we did account for all the abilities in the proper way, though, with Prodigy and swapping out and whatnot.
I think so.
But I think it's pretty much good to go.
I will say this, that I've learned this in the last week or so. I do think that adept should be tweaked for Claim the Sky. I think instead of getting one ability or 2 abilities, it should be given 1 more ability.
Why is
because
that?
there's a lot of hero types that fall under the adept,
Yeah. I agree with that.
I kind of think I agree with you on that with Anthony, because they get 4 powers and then 1 power at every tier afterwards. So it would probably be nice to see him get maybe 2 And
Yeah.
then, at 3 and 6, I would even say give them 3 at 3 and give them 3 at 6 and give them 2 at 5.
Yeah, because
and 5.
I understand the design process in the CSR because they doing, their powers tend to be a lot more fantastical, but in supers, you want to be doing fantastical shit. So you want more options.
So we could just throw it out there. That could just be something that we might have to do for ourselves and make it happen.
At least just one more.
Yeah.
I fully agree with that sentiment, actually.
It doesn't have to be 4, but at least tier.
I think at tier 1 you get your 4, tier 2 you get 2, tier 3 you get 3, tier 4 you get 2, tier 5 you get 2, tier 6 you get 3.
Yeah, because
Like
even if you're looking at a straight sorcerer like Doctor Strange, he could do some crazy shit, and he has a variety of stuff he could do.
Some of his are items, though.
Yeah.
Some of them is, some of it is, and some of it isn't.
So before we leave, or whatever we're gonna do next here, I just got new dice when I was at PAX, not knowing that I was doing this.
Oh shit!
And they're redwood,
Nice.
actual wood, and they are red, like meat-looking dice.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice. That's perfect for your character.
Ready? They're in this case.
Oh, that should be your emblem. That's your hero emblem now.
That's two-tone vault.
That's really nice. Damn.
Let me address Jason's and.
Before we start answering the questions, what's his final sentence so everybody knows?
I'll let him read it. It's the same as the.
What did sensational get changed to?
It's still sensational, but I guess you can call it something else because we're like putting it on its head.
Wouldn't be hated. Infamous. Infamous. Hard light.
I think infamous works.
Infamous.
Oh, wait, is there already an infamous descriptor? No. All right, so then infamous. There we go.
Infamous lantern who sculpts hard light. Is that what it would be?
There you go.
So an adept who's been adjusted a bit with flavors.
Yeah, adept's at the top, but I always name it what I am.
Yep.
I think instead of rings though for this, I think I'm gonna have my eye be the piece that you use instead of it being a ring for our set piece.
It's cool. Well, you got to remember, if you remember correctly, Green Lantern was based on the Lensman series anyway. They used lenses. So.
Yep.
But
who sculpts blood, but whatever.
So we have a red lantern now. Guys in the chat, let us know if you think we did a good job crafting the red lantern.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
And be sure to check the game out tomorrow to make sure that
what time are we on tomorrow?
10 p.m. Eastern time.
10 p.m. Eastern? Ooh, that's a late one.
Yep. I mean, like now.
Because they're West Coast. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
You can start answering some chat questions now.
All right. So Omen Owl said Hulk, Bruce Banner, would they have the same descriptor or 2 different ones? Depends on how you want to run your game. But I would definitely say more likely 2 different ones, and it depends on which Hulk you're doing. You
can handle it like
the
CSR stuff where you have 2 descriptors,
right?
One for your race and.
Well, you could do that, but I'm just saying it would depend on how you build. If you're building Intelligent Hulk, then you could use the same descriptor for both. If you're building Professor Hulk, once again, if you're building the Maestro. Not necessarily, because he never even turns back into Bruce Banner.
Right.
If you're building Rage Monster Hulk, then that would be one of those situations where you'd have to go either way. So, it's really your call. One of the beautiful things about Cypher System is that as long as you're not trying to build a new mechanic or, turn everything around and add extra, working pieces, you can do whatever you want. And because most of it is just flavoring anyway,
right.
So you're really open to that. Jason C. and Lord and Lady Mill.
Hold on, can we answer the questions too, Dean?
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's like, fuck y'all, I'm answering this, only me.
Go ahead.
I stood quiet, I didn't say a word. Definitely do 2 descriptors. And go into the book, what you call it? What's the first Supers book? It's off the top of my head.
Unmasked. Unmasked.
Yeah, unmasked shows you exactly how to do two descriptors. So use unmasked as your basis for that. I would absolutely use or even if you have the strange, you could do it the way the strange does it. But I would definitely use two focus, one for just the human Bruce Banner, and then one for the Hulk. Easy enough to do.
Yeah, no, that's my answer too. Like, Unmasked was perfect for something like this. You have a human form, and then instead of your hero form would just be the Hulk. So
wasn't there a
perfect.
Jekyll and Hyde descriptor or foci or something like that as well?
Not directly, no.
I thought there was one where you.
No,
had
the
two
strange
forms.
has one that's similar.
Yeah, the strange had something.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
in Cypher had something for that. So you might be able to yank one of those out.
Right. And that's the other thing, kind of data mine your other books, because a lot of other descriptors, especially there's the in translation, which is the strange book, it literally has all sorts of stuff. They have all sorts of ones that would be perfect. They have cyborg, they have masters wuxia, they have wields a big energy gun or something like that. So it's a lot of them in translation that would be great for supers. I would just mine those books and put those foci to the side where you could have them readily available.
You see the question about how you'd handle weaknesses because it's not in the book?
Yeah, I was just about to read that one off because that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll read it off. So King Burgundy asks, so if you were going to go for a weakness like kryptonite or the like, what would you do? Like, would you homebrew a trade-off of some sort since it isn't really described in the rules?
We were actually having this discussion earlier, remember?
I don't.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of agree with doing a trade-off. If you're going to put a weakness on your character, give them a free power shift.
Yeah, that's how I would do it. I think you have a power shift, and I think I would do the same thing as an inability, but do it for power shifts.
Yep.
Me and Al were talking about this yesterday. Was it yesterday? It might have been the day before.
Oh yes. So you were trying to, figure out a trade-off for the being invulnerable. Like how could we handle that in the rules?
Captain Carrot uses his like he needs his carrots to have his abilities, and I was saying that like
gummy berry juice.
Yeah, you could do it flavor-wise, saying that he goes down the damage track if he doesn't have a carrot, or he loses his focus abilities if he doesn't use the carrot. So there's a lot of ways that you could do it from a cinematic flavor-wise without adding a mechanic to it, or you could do it like Eric and Dean said, and just physically add a mechanic. Me personally, I would tend to try to do it the flavor-wise because I just think it's the cleanest way of doing it without adding additional mechanics. But if the way they explain works 100% correctly as well.
We really didn't think too much about it or too hard on it because like King Burgundy mentioned, it's not super mentioned in the book, and it's a one shot that Sean is being nice enough to run for us. We don't want to add more headache to like, hey, are we going to handle weaknesses and all this? So it's definitely speculation at this point, especially for my end. I have not really run any supers games, but I feel like I'd handle it more like Anthony specified, where it's like more of a flavorful.
Is there further books coming out that might have it?
We don't know. If there's a demand, like Monty and the guys have all said, if there's enough of a demand, if there's something that tweaks them, then we might see some more.
Oh, I just didn't know if there was something in the lineup already, like other books from that Kickstarter.
There is something in the lineup, Eric. There's 3 more additional books coming out for this Kickstarter. It's not just
2
this.
more.
So, or 2 more, right? But so there is an opportunity for more rules being added. Like we don't know what's going to be in the Origins book, or we don't know what. Oh,
I just can't talk about it.
This guy's like, I know.
Because there are actually more mechanics that will go with all of this from first responders as well. Yeah. There's some new mechanics and they're kind of cool as shit. And there's some new stuff that's coming in Origins as well, and it's going to make for some interesting gaming, to say the least. As it comes forward. Jason C. and Lord and Lady Mills were both asking about copycat characters, Siler, Peter Petrelli, Rogue, Kirby, Ditto, Blue Mage, and so on and so forth. There's actually an entire template. There's actually a focus, for copying powers, and that's literally what it is. It's called Copies Powers. And it's pretty solid because at first level, you don't necessarily copy powers. You have flex skills at first tier, which is kind of cool. If you don't know what flex skills are, they're in the book, they're in the CSR, and basically every day you get to pick, something that you're trained
And
at.
swap it.
Yeah, you can swap it out every day. You pick a new skill at the start of the day. The minute you hit tier 2, you get copy powers.
Oh wow. Okay.
And when you start copying powers, it's let me get to the description of it real quick. Okay, here I am. So basically it says you can copy someone's power for an hour, perform it as if it was a natural for you. But you have to touch the creature in order to do it, so on and so forth.
Okay.
There are various ways that you can steal the power and the person loses the power, but then there's going to be opposed rolls at certain times for that person's power to come back. If they get their power back, you lose it. There are other things that can cause you
That's cool.
There's another focus called Wild Talent or something like that, and that allows you to literally use their power in ways they couldn't. So if you are familiar with the character Gideon from Marvel Comics, he did that. He would take somebody's superpower and use it in ways they never could. So these are all aspects.
That's pretty cool.
It's really well thought out, in the approach and the different abilities that come from that ability.
I'm curious to see how conflicts plays out in this, because that's such a big part of superhero games, like stopping buildings from falling, saving a bunch of people a building in one round, things like that. I'm curious to see how that stuff turns out. There's
once again, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but this is why Claim the Sky. This is why First Responders is going to be so good, because it deals with all of that. It deals with.
Do you feel that should have been included in this book though, instead of being a separate book, or is there a lot in First Responders that it really wouldn't fit?
I think it works out well, because what I think is going to do, if people use the 3 books in unison, or any combination,
sure,
they're going to be able to just flesh out every aspect. This book is over 200 pages. They don't want to go too high on the page counts.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been probably another 30 or 40 pages of content.
Sure.
So what we're doing now, we continue to do until the new book comes out. But like I said, there's many elements. This is really like the old days when if you had the player's handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and Monster Manual, you could do anything. It's one of those situations.
We'll see what else happens. I was gonna say, it makes sense to me. There's some superhero aspects that in a superhero book I want. So I need to dig through this a little bit, because I can't say anything because I haven't looked through enough. But like I know you guys have told me that they've added the power shift mechanic to where it goes above the scale of 10. They explain how to handle that stuff. That makes me really happy. I just want to feel like a superhero at the end of the day. I'm curious to see if I feel like one playing this. That's what I want to know. And you need mechanics to institute that to a point.
I think it will, but I think the audience has to tune in tomorrow at 10 p.m. to find out.
Yeah. Obviously, that's the point. I'm speaking out loud.
Yeah, I know. And I followed up with a free, you set me up for a free promo, dude. Don't let me not.
It was on purpose.
And just so for Techman, you asked the question. We haven't made those characters. I don't think anybody's made those characters yet for this, for Cypher, but they could be easily done.
Well, what was the question?
Oh, they wanted to know if you could make domino or long shot.
And
Oh, I absolutely. I think
Domino, a long shot would easily be lucky and throws with deadly accuracy. Done. And he could probably be an explorer. Domino I would probably make domino a warrior with a focus in guns of some sort. And again, use the lucky descriptor. And just break it down like that, because the lucky descriptor basically is going to handle that probability thing of theirs.
Yeah, I agree with that. Some of the new foci are pretty cool. I like how they broke it down where you can add stuff. I really enjoy that part too, like how you can kind of swap things out. They did a good job making it feel like you're a superhero building.
And one other thing I like to kind of highlight for everybody, there are randomization tools in this book where you can literally make a character randomly, which is
that's cool.
Which I dig a lot.
So the old Marvel phase rip system kind of feel. Nice.
Yeah, where you literally don't know what you're getting.
I knew that was one of the things that everybody was asking for. I didn't know that they actually did it. That's cool. I'm scrolling through the book.
Any other questions? Anything else, guys, out there?
I have a ton, but
if there's not, me and you can talk after the stream, Eric.
I have a lot of questions.
You and I can talk after the stream. So, guys, Anthony L.
Anthony, you can.
Got anything, buddy?
No, the usual.
Take us out.
The spiel.
So stay tuned for tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern. One and only Sean Kane Reynolds coming to run us this adventure. We gave you the red lantern. Let's see if it actually works at the table. You like us and you like what we do, please visit the Cypher Unlimited Discord server. We have the largest fan-run Discord server for all things Monty Cook games, almost 4,000 members chatting and playing games, all things MCG. If Discord is not for you, join our Facebook group. It's not large as our Discord, but there's a lot of great discussions happening there every day, daily. If you want to support us, please give us a follow here on Twitch or go to our YouTube channel. We're trying to build our subscriptions up there. Give us a like, share, subscribe there on YouTube. It will be greatly appreciated. Or give us a little donation on Ko-fi. Our videos are always free, but it helps us out with little things like Zoom calls. Or you could always pick up some cool Cypher Unlimited merch and be the coolest kid on the block. Go to our Cypher Unlimited store and pick up some of our cool merch there. Last but not least, we love you guys.
No, not last but not least, Eric, do you have anything you want to share with us? I do have a couple links pulled up, but anything you want to mention before getting out of here?
Yeah. I'm everywhere as Erik Frankhouse or Erik Frankhouse Presents. If you want to know what's going on with me, Twitter's the easiest way to do it, but I post damn near everywhere. I'm the network director for Norse Foundry's Twitch as well, and the art manager for TPK Games. We just came out with, if you play any 5e stuff, since you got some of the new Cypher or Monty Cook game 5e stuff, we had the Book of Monsters might come out, which lets you use recovery dice as options for your monsters and your players. Instead of just healing, you can do cool shit with them. But yeah, man, I am on every day this week. I am on Monday through Saturday this week. So I'll be with you guys tomorrow. I'll be at West Birch on Friday over on Norse Foundry. And then I'm on Band of Badgers on Saturday for the Christmas party in the afternoon. So my life is on Twitch right now.
Die on stream.
Fun.
Everywhere.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Eric, and looking forward to playing tomorrow with you. And thank you everyone out there for stopping by to watch. I'm very excited. Oh, and again, thank you to everyone who gave suggestions for these heroes. We ended up with a pretty fun looking group. Very excited to see what Sean throws at us tomorrow and how we handle it.
Horror superheroes.
It should be a lot of fun.
If they want to visit these characters, we're going to post them on YouTube, right?
Correct. So I'll have links set up for each of the sheets, or I might compile them all in one place, or whatever. I'll figure it out. But we'll have the link with the YouTube video, and I'm also going to post them on Discord and our Facebook group.
Cool.
Yeah. So if you want to take a closer look at the characters, you can check them out then. With the actual sheets. Be sure to come tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern, to watch us actually play as these characters. And yeah. Thank you guys so much again. We love you so much. Be sure to check out Eric again at the links I posted there. And Yeah. From us at the CU, we will see you later.
See you tomorrow.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. See you tomorrow.